What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. We actually have a special guest on the call right now. But before I get into any of that stuff, let me know so far how you guys liking the episodes. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys are getting some value off of the episodes. Um, Today, though, I had to bring on somebody pretty special. I spoke to this individual once or twice, um, and he's all the way in California, or is it Miami?
It's California.
California. He's all the way in Cali, and he did us a favor. He got on this call, and this is someone who I look up to. I seen his success story, and it's crazy to see, what he's been able to do, and the fact that we're from similar backgrounds. To me, that speaks like very high numbers. It's just really like very aspiring to see someone who goes from nothing to leveling up on a crazy scale. So he's an online coach for online coaches. Not only that, he has his own mastermind. So he's been able to help countless of people scale, not just to just regular online coaching business, but up to 25K a month. On top of that, he's a Salvadorian like me, so that's kind of cool. And I just found out recently that he's a Scorpio. So, Asseal, how you doing, man? Welcome to the
No, I'm doing amazing, man. I'm honored to be on the podcast. I appreciate you thinking about me and wanted to bring me on. And yeah, man, I mean Salvadorian, immigrant parents, worked at McDonald's, and I can go in deep detail
Oh
exactly how
yeah, I didn't
the
even
story
mention
works.
that. You worked at McDonald's. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So how
So
was it working at McDonald's? Did they train you how to make a McChicken? Because sometimes the McChickens don't slap.
you know what's funny is I say this a lot on my social media. I say that although I worked at McDonald's, I take pride in it because nobody
Yeah.
was as good as me at making them McChickens
Yeah,
and
that's
serving
funny.
them.
They say the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, so that makes sense.
Exactly, bro. 1000%, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on, and I'm excited. I'm excited to give as much value as possible.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's get started with that. Like, where did you start? How did you even get into fitness?
Yeah, great question, brother. So, man, it's funny. I guess everybody comes from a fitness background where there was an epiphany that happened in their life where they said enough is enough and they wanted to get in shape. For some men, it could be heartbreak. For some men, it could be, I don't know, an actual thing that they experienced physically that made them want to make that change. For me, it was just me just being overweight. I wanted to get into fitness and wanted to, honestly, when I was younger, I wanted to get the girls. That's a big reason that's for me wanting to get into working out and getting in good shape. So as I started getting into fitness, obviously I come from a background where it was immigrant parents. They came to the US to work 2 jobs a day, work 16, 17-hour days every single day for me and my siblings to make it, quote unquote. So my first job was working at McDonald's, right? Then I went from restaurant job to restaurant job. I was feeling like I was destined for more. And I feel like deep down inside, a lot of people might feel that way. But I've always been in great shape. I worked on my fitness journey. I said, why not just become a personal trainer? But
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? I don't want to just work at any gym. I don't want to work at LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, the most common 9 to 5 gyms, I call them. I wanted to work at the best gym in California. So I started doing my research. And I said, one of the most expensive gyms is Equinox. So I was like, I got to work at that one. But I
Yeah.
got to work at the best one because I wanted to put myself in a better environment. So I searched up Hollywood.
Yeah.
Several of them popped up. And when I was actually when I went to my first interview, it was one in South Bay. I didn't get that one. I didn't get hired in that one. But I went to finally the one in Hollywood, which is the one I really truly wanted to work at.
Yeah.
But before I went, my brother said, "Listen, you must take a binder, and in that binder, put in exactly all the reasons why they should hire you." I knew I had a bunch of disadvantages. I'm 5'6.5", 5'7" on a good day. I'm a midget, right?
Yeah.
I'm Salvadorian. I was probably only gonna be the Hispanic motherfucker applying for the job. And I
Was that
knew
the
that I
case
was
when
also
you went
young.
there? Was that the
I was
case?
19 when I started.
Uh huh.
At Equinox, so I knew I had some disadvantages.
Yeah.
So when I showed up, it's like 12 people applying for the position, and I'm like, damn, well, all odds are against me now, right? But as we went through it, when I left, I decided to give the manager, the person hiring, the binder. I said, hey, listen, I don't know if you guys want me a part of the team or not, but I just want to leave this binder with you guys. A week later, hey man, you're hired. If you would have not brought that binder, I would have never hired you. So in that binder, I basically had like my Instagram following. I flex. Hey, listen, look at my IG following. Look at the client results I got at a young age. I competed for a show. This is why I'm the best fit for you guys. So they were like mind blown.
Mm,
They said in the years of 20 years of them working at Equinox, nobody's ever done that. So they're like, we knew that you're gonna be a gem as soon as you did that. So crazy story, man. But that first week, I hired my first client. Well, I got my first client. I didn't know though that he was worth millions of dollars. This guy
yeah.
was generating like 20 million plus just doing e-commerce.
Mm,
And I signed him up as a client. And that was a big, I say some people might say a chess move because I didn't really care about being a personal trainer. Although
yeah.
I loved it and I truly enjoy helping people, I knew that I wasn't going to be a trainer forever. I just wanted to put
Mm,
myself in the right environment.
yeah.
Where else better to do it than Hollywood, brother?
Yeah.
So that's what really opened up all the doors for me is meeting all those people, the people with the Porsches, the Lambos, the Ferraris. All I saw in the garage of that Equinox was just 5-star cars, bro.
That's
So every day is like you're
crazy.
motivated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, hell yeah. Okay.
yeah. So that's how it started off for me, man. That's that opened up the door. That guy actually became a close buddy of mine. I consider him a brother. He lives in Miami now. I used to get invited to all his Hollywood parties. He used to have a mansion out there in Hollywood until he finally actually hired me to become a sales rep for his company. He said, dude, I think you're a great trainer, but you should come sell for me. I think you have the skill. In 5 months, I became this top performer. I left Equinox. I was just doing my own private training on the side, started training his network, and everything really took off from there, man. So I do feel like it just takes one door for everything to just open up for you, right? So
Yeah.
I guess it was this burning desire, right, Johnny, to wanting to never settle, and I guess it comes from the roots of where I come from, right? El Salvador was a third world country. It's poor out there. Parents came here, so I always had this desire of like, bro, you got no choice, brother. You got to make
Yeah.
it. It's up to you now, you know.
Yeah.
So,
That
and I'm sure you have that sense in you as well,
I,
bro.
I do, bro. I do. And
Yeah.
it's crazy that you say that. I think for me it's like it was something developed in me over time because I literally saw and felt, I felt the lack of prosperity. Like there's just really just a lack in, my parents, my family, my whole family, their mindset on money, and that's overall the massive population. You know what I mean? So
Of course.
yeah, just growing up with that, I didn't want to settle either. So that's crazy. But with your story, so you said you started off with the bodybuilding show. That's where you started off, and then you not only decided that you wanted to be a personal trainer, but you knew ahead of time that you wanted to do something even bigger. Can you talk
Mm-hmm.
about that? Like,
Yeah.
what do you feel like? When did it start for you?
It's a good question, man. I guess we can all say doing that show was great, but it also opened my eyes into like I don't want to be a competitor. Like I knew once I finished the show, I don't want to be a competitor. Like it, I just saw it just wasn't for me. I don't want to
Okay.
speak anything bad about competing or none of that.
Yeah.
I just know that it wasn't for me, but I still enjoyed fitness. Like I enjoyed working out, I enjoyed training people, had a passion for it. But I knew that like trainers are capped, bro. I knew that I can go train at a gym, but that a gym was gonna take a big cut of what I was gonna make. I knew
Yeah.
that there was a certain cap that I can make, unless I opened up a gym, right? But I never really had a desire to open up a gym either. Like I knew that I wanted to do something that could really impact a lot of people. And that was always something that was really huge in me. And I knew that I always had a cap in person. I always knew.
Yeah.
So once I started working at Equinox, it clarified that for me even more. Like I'm very basically capped at this gym, and I got to really realize how many of those trainers were comfortable though.
Mm,
They were fine with something that I call being in the glass ceiling. Right? You're like imagine a glass, and you're like in a box, but the box is like a glass and shit. So you can see the other side, but you're trapped in your own glass that you created for yourself.
mm,
And a big thing that I really want to focus on, or one of our biggest missions, is to really help a lot of trainers break that glass ceiling to their earning potential. Because as an in person trainer, you're capped. There's only a certain amount you can earn if you work for a gym. There's only a certain amount of clients you could train per day without burning out. And there's only a certain amount that you can really achieve. There's only a certain amount of people that you can impact. So
Mm,
To a certain point, I always knew deep down inside that I was always gonna be capped at a
mm,
certain point.
yeah.
And man, I had this big mentality since young, just to think very, very big. So I knew that the numbers that I wanted to make were never gonna come into fruition with just being
Yeah.
a trainer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like just the Scorpio blood? I think it has something to do with that.
It's funny, man. I haven't, I had an ex girlfriend, and she used to be a Scorpio too.
Mm,
She used to look all into like what a Scorpio stand for, what do they believe in. And I gotta say, man, I don't really recall a lot of it, but I know a lot of people say that Scorpios are very loyal. Um, Whenever they put
true.
their heart into something, they won't stop until they get it. And I just feel like to a certain point, that does describe me as a Scorpio. So I never
Yeah,
really followed that, but man, everything that it like Scorpio, like the actual definition of it and what it stands for, it actually falls within who I am. So I mean, I might agree with you on that, man. I think that it might be that Scorpio blood.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what it is, bro. Honestly, it's crazy though. But it's crazy that you're saying all this because I could really resonate with you. You know, I really relate. I think like there's like not like when I put my mind to something, I really just want it badly, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that want that. But for you, you know, you actually went and you got it. You know, you hit six figures, which to me is something I always wanted to do, and it's actually my current goal right now. So let's talk about that. Like, you know, you said you knew you were capped at personal training, and you knew beforehand that you were already going to make big numbers. So besides the mindset and kind of having that vision beforehand, what do you feel like were the steps you had to take in order for you to get that reward? What are some sacrifices you had to make maybe, or what is that one thing that kind of you it, you expanded your awareness, and then from there the results just came in.
Yeah, for sure, brother. That's a really good question. I mean, I'd say it's a combination of a lot of things. I'd say number one is having a structured roadmap because I feel like
Mm,
a lot of trainers that maybe want to hit the six figures a year, they don't have a roadmap on how to do it. So because you don't have a roadmap, you're lost and you're like in limbo, constantly going around in circles. So number one is having a good game plan and a roadmap to follow. Then the second thing that I really focus on, brother, is extreme productivity. And
mm,
I can tell you this, something that has really helped me with extreme productivity is one book that I recommend all over my social media. But a lot of people, they just seem to like to listen to me, but they don't take action. Except you're different, right, Johnny? Like everything I've told you so far, you've listened, and that's something I really admire about you. But just
yeah.
for everybody, or the people listening, there's one book, and it's called Deep Work by Cal Newport, and it's one of my favorite books of all time because this book helped me realize that if I could just dedicate 3 to 4 hours a day, I'm not even saying 10 to 12 hour days and do this full time. I'm just saying if you could just dedicate 3 to 4 hours a day and you're like in extreme productivity, that book gave me hacks and tools and resources to use to be able to utilize my time effectively. Like it basically shared with me. If you look at some of the biggest CEOs in the world right now, Netflix, Microsoft, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, these guys don't, yeah, they might work 12 to 14 hours a day, but the most important hours of their day is probably structured within only 3 to 4 hours. And those 3 to 4 hours are probably spent doing the most productive work that is going to move the needle forward for their company. All the other
Mm,
hours they're probably spending doing other things, maybe traveling, going to another meeting, or doing this or looking at products. But those first 3 to 4 hours that they use is where they have extreme productivity, and that's those 3 to 4 hours are crucial to their success in their company. And
mm,
that book made me realize that, like, if only every day I could put myself into a state of deep work and I have a roadmap on what exactly to execute on, I'd accomplish a lot more than the average human being.
mm,
Because everybody's lost, right, Johnny? Everybody's in
yeah.
limbo. Everybody's programmed to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to act a certain way. So if you can separate yourself from the crowd and understand how to be very, very productive with your time, you'd accomplish a lot more than the average human being. So that's why I feel that like this year, if anybody can just get more productive and they have a roadmap and what to follow, they'd execute a lot more than the average human being. So that's one thing that I feel like really, really I could dedicate a lot of my success to is that book. But another thing too is you mentioned something powerful. You said sacrifice there. There's an author, Napoleon Hill. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's famous.
Think of go
And he
rich.
says, without, you can't get any reward without any like sacrifice. And it's huge, right? Because I feel like to a certain point, people aren't willing to give something up in order to achieve getting to, let's say, 10K a month, 8 to 10K, that's 6 figures plus a year. And I tell this all the time to our current active members that we have a part of our mastermind is I told them this, it's a new year. Let me ask you this. What are you willing to give up this year? What are you willing to sacrifice? Maybe that means cutting down on some expenses that you shouldn't be fucking spending on. Maybe it means that you should spend less time like, I have some trainers who say, "Oh man, I spend 3 hours a day at the gym." And I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you spending 3 hours a day at the gym?
Yeah.
Matter of, I'm like, dude, matter of fact, I
That's a lot
only
of
spend
time.
maybe like an hour, 45 minutes at the gym. And it's funny, I have some girls at the gym. Obviously, they know who Assealonofficial is, so they come up to me. They tease me.
They start
They
going up to
tease
you
me.
like,
They
I
tease me and
want
they
some.
say, "Oh man, oh my god, you only work out for like 45 minutes." And I'm like, "Girl, I don't know who you've dated before in the past, but I don't fucking work at Starbucks." That's what I tell. Girl,
Yeah,
I don't work at Starbucks. I know who you dated before in the past, but I got shit to do, right?
yeah, yeah,
So, you gotta really understand. And I know I just wanted to throw a joke in there, really just to get
yeah,
back into the topic, right? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice, man? Maybe it means like, spending less time with friends that aren't on the mission to achieve something great in life. I believe to a certain extent, this leads back to my next thing. You have to sacrifice something, but you have to also put yourself in the right environment. You have to put yourself in a community of winners. And that starts with the men that you hang around with. Because I'm sure you probably get, I know you get a lot of ladies maybe listen to this. You may probably get a lot of guys listen to it as well. But
no,
I feel
I
like
got no
as a
ladies in
man,
the child. I got men in here. We got the men.
as a
No,
man,
no,
right?
thank ya. Yeah,
So as a man, I feel like you have to surround yourself with other men that are on a mission to build an empire. Think about it. You're around other men that are on the same mission to build an empire just like you. You're in a community filled with empire builders. You have to be around men that have morals, that have codes that they follow, that are on a mission. Because if you're around men that don't have a mission, it's so easy to swerve away and get into doing other shit that you shouldn't be doing. So man, it's a
yeah,
combination of a lot of those things. But I'd say my first 10K a month is a combination of all those things, being very focused with my productivity, understanding what exactly to execute on every day, really having a roadmap, understanding that I have to sacrifice something. So, I spend late nights after, working at a gym to, master the proper skill sets needed to really grow my online business.
mm,
I associated myself around the right people. Whenever, my client invited me to, come to his parties, I didn't care about partying, right? Although, there's always going to be girls. There is a Hollywood party, right? But I cared
yeah,
about the network that I was going to meet there, like his
yeah,
friends. Oh, shit. Okay. What can I learn from this guy? Right. Then they'll tell me some strategy. And off that strategy, I can implement it, boom, right away. And that's something that I always had is like, just tell me something. Tell me something I need. Right? Tell me something. And it's something I tell because I'm focused a lot this year to become more of a spiritual person, become more connected to God. And I say, God, just tell me what to do, brother. Tell me what's the next step. Tell me what I gotta do, and I'll
mm,
do it. Right.
mm,
So that's the same thing that I tell the world every day. It's like, man, give me the wisdom, give me the knowledge, and I'll
mm,
execute on it.
mm.
So sometimes you gotta open your mind, brother, because everybody's programmed to think a certain way, to operate a certain way, to feel a certain way. You gotta change that. So change your behavior, and that'll lead to more success in this new year.
Yeah. So you said something interesting. You said this year you're tapped more into the spiritual side of things. Do
Yeah.
you feel like that has a big role with your success too? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the productivity, that's something that's really very very important. The physical work, you need to take action. Um, but in terms of the spiritual side of success, what is your perspective on it? How important do you think that is?
Man, I'll be honest with you, right? I feel like my journey's been very interesting because at McDonald's, I used to say things like, man, if only I could like if only I could make 10K a month, I'd be able to quit this job. And I remember sitting in drive-thru telling people, "Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can I order?" And I used to hate myself miserably. I used to
Yeah.
tell myself, one day I'd look back and say that this was all part of my story. And then I got to that point where I hit those numbers like 10K, surpassed them, and even greater. And I still felt not so good internally. And I feel like
Mm,
everybody reaches that point. You can get the Lambos, you get the Audi, you can get whatever you want, but like you're still gonna feel empty because I feel like I wasn't driven by something even greater. So I feel like last year is when because the thing is, my family's always been religious, but I've always been the guy that steered away because I'm like, I don't really feel like I needed it. But I guess last year I got to a point where I was like, dude, every man that wants to achieve any great power needs God, or any great influencer to build an empire. Like
Mm.
you need God by your side. And as I started getting back to reading the Bible, I found that all these men that achieved great things, the empire builders, they had God by their side. So I realized that I needed to become more spiritually connected to achieve great heights. And I got to a point where I also realized that it's more than just the money. Like the money is great, it'll always come. God will bring you more money all the time. But I feel like you have to be driven by something even more powerful than that, you know? And that's when I realized that I'm taking into a bigger role this year. And I'm seeing myself, and this goes to every man, is that you have to develop into becoming like a leader. So a leader for your family, right? And I feel like as a man, you have to provide for your parents, your loved ones. You have to lead them in the right way. You have to be a leader for your siblings, right? You have to lead them in the right direction. You have to teach them your ways. You have to pass down the wisdom. So you have to be a leader to your siblings. You have to be a leader for your friends, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you're there for them, that you're loyal for them, that you pass down your knowledge, your wisdom to your friends as well. You have to be a leader for, if you want to build a company, you have to be a leader for your team, right? You have to make sure that you train them, that, they're driven by a purpose similar to yours. And I just found that over time, as men, our role is to be a leader, right? But in order for you to get that power to lead, it comes from man above, man. And I feel like to a certain extent, I left that out for a very long time. So this is why I feel that
Mm.
this year we're about to, man. I just feel like every man needs God, man, to a certain extent. So
Yeah.
it's funny, man. I guess you could say what brought me a little bit closer to him is the fact that I still felt empty, although I hit my goals. Like, wasn't I supposed to feel something? Wasn't I supposed to feel a certain way when I hit those goals? Wasn't I supposed to feel accomplished? But I didn't feel anything.
Wow.
So that's when I realized that every single day you need a even bigger purpose than just money. Because
Yeah.
everybody wants to make the million. Everybody wants to make $100,000 a month, right? But nobody ever asks, what book do I need to read? Nobody ever asks what's what type of way should I get more connected to God, right? Nobody ever asks what mastermind should I join. Everybody wants to be like a trampoline, shoot to the top, and then
Yeah.
come right back down.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to like be like a ladder, right? So yeah, man, I'd say that's how it all started for me. I realized that the money's cool. I think to a certain point, Johnny, you'll get there too. I have no doubt in my mind. But if you just become more
Appreciate that.
spiritually connected, you feel so much powerful, bro. So much more powerful and more
Yeah.
fulfilled. That's what I want for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, bro. It's crazy that you say that because, like I personally haven't done it yet, but I do know this. I do know that from what I've heard and from what you just told me, and this is where I wanna kind of get your insight on too. Do you feel like it's more important? The goal you, my philosophy is like you should kind of act like you already have the goal when you don't have the goal yet, but
Yep.
you're focused on becoming the person you need to become. And it's about that.
Yep.
It's about who do you become throughout the process. So for you,
Hmm.
like, would you say that that's kind of a sense of what you're focused on too? Like just developing when you say
Yeah.
that ladder?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, bro. It's all about the becoming, man. Like everybody wants to just like quickly, like a flick of a switch. They want to just
Yeah,
like
they
be
just
that
want the
person.
they just want the stuff, bro. They just want the materialistic
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it really comes from like also just they're kind of tired of what they see in front of them, like the lack of prosperity. Like for me at least, I know shit. I have my vision, and I'm really. It sometimes it could I could get pulled back because of my current results. I'm like looking at it.
Mm,
I'm looking at my bank account like shit. Like I need to do some work. Like fuck, you know.
right.
But I do know that at the end of the day, like we're just living this thing called life, and in life, like what matters most is you're just living your best life no matter what. So it's really about that journey, like you said, and sometimes we could
Hmm.
kind of forget that because we're just super focused on what we lack, and that kind of puts us in this wrong state of mind. So yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, for you, being a personal trainer, how long did it take you to go from personal training to online coaching?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I became a personal trainer 2019. I did it for an entire year, but I found that I could just do it online. So that's when I,
Yeah.
decided to really just go the online route and start training clients. I actually joined my first mastermind at that time too, in regards to like really learning how to take my whole business online, and
Wait,
that's
wait,
where
wait.
everything really changed
When
me.
you became a personal trainer, you that's when you decided to join the mastermind too, to
Yep,
take it
yep. I
online.
was like, all right, I was like,
Oh
man, I'm gonna
shit,
become a
he was
trainer.
already ready. Yeah, that's
I was
crazy.
ready, man. I wanted to go hard on this, man. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna become a trainer. Cool. Even a few months in, I was like, damn, I gotta really find a way. Because the thing is that client of mine that was making $20 million a year, he
Yeah,
also told me like, bro, why are you training here? You should just go online. And I
yeah,
used to
he
listen
told
to
you
him tell
too.
me this shit. Listen, I used to train him, right? And I
Uh-huh.
used to murder his ass on leg days, right?
Yeah.
But he used to be like, ah, bro, yeah, it's 12 p.m. right now, and I already made 16 grand. And he showed me his Stripe account. He's like
Yo.
16K for the day. And he say, man, and he'd be worried because he's like, man, that's a bad day though. Like we should be doing a lot better. And
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm
what the
like, bro,
fuck? This
I'm
guy's
not
talking
even
about.
seeing that in 2, 3 months.
Yeah, man. So I was like,
Yeah,
man. So I was like, I knew it, man. I knew the online world. There was something about that. So I started listening to him, and I put myself in the right environment. He used to
yeah.
tell me this, and then one day I showed up, and I was like, hey, bro, I just signed up for this mastermind, and he was like, damn, really? Shit, that's what I'm talking about, Asseal. So he was like, damn, this young guy is an action taker, right? And so he was
Mm,
impressed. And then, yeah, man, I mean, after that, he obviously wanted to be a sales rep for his company. So I became a sales rep. I was still training a few clients in person. So I drive to train them, but I only kept the ones that paid the most. So like I had a
yeah.
guy that was a doctor, another guy that did e-commerce, and then I had him and I had his business partner as well. So those guys
Got
every
you.
month were just, he was actually paying me $2,500 a month just to train them
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
wanted me to
That's
train them
facts.
5 days a week. And I
Yeah,
had four clients that were similar like that. Then I
yeah,
had online training, and then I was a sales rep for his company as well. But it was a lot. Damn, I was working a lot. I'll be honest with you. I had no life,
yeah,
but it was cool though. We're crushing the game, and ever since then, I mean, everything opened up the doors for me, bro. So I
yeah.
dedicate a lot of my success to him because I feel like he pushed me in the right direction. So I hope to post him on my social media one day, but he's a private guy now. They
Mm,
say that when a guy starts to make a lot of money, he becomes a man of wealth, doesn't like the attention. So he's kind of escaped away off social media and he's doing his own thing now. So
yeah.
hopefully one day, maybe I'll post him only for our members. That's actually
Uh,
something we've been thinking is to do a podcast, but only our members can see who it is. So he can get all the gold from a guy like him because I think he's worth 9 figures now or even greater. Not
wow.
sure. So he's crushing the game, man. So
That's nice, bro.
yeah.
Honestly, you said e-commerce, right? Do you
hmm
stay in contact with him?
Yeah. We're close buddies to this day. He's in Miami.
That's a
He says
fact.
whenever I travel down there, I could just he actually stays at the same hotel, the same building as Lionel Messi. So
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
yeah,
That's
so
respect,
he
bro.
stays in
Because
the same building.
like a lot of people would wish they had a mentor like that. So I'm sure you're very grateful, and I'm sure it didn't happen for no reason. He saw a lot of potential in you. So that speaks numbers. That's
Yeah,
crazy. It's good. Yeah, bro. That's
yeah, man,
respect.
sure.
You know. So,
I'm telling you.
um, in terms of your online training now, your online personal training. So what I want to do is I want to get into how is it that a personal trainer like me, how can we start to scale online? What are some things that we could do? But for you, your process, how was it for you in the beginning? Not even just a transition because you did a little bit of personal training, but what do you think was the main thing that helped you scale up to 6 figures?
The main thing that helped me. It's a good question, brother. And I'd say I'm really mastering three key skills. And I say the first one is to get really good at developing a system. Now, I'm sure a lot of people hear
Mm-hmm.
this off social media all the time. But developing a system can be multiple things. First, you need a system to help your clients get great results online. Don't use spreadsheets. Don't use Google Docs. That's old school. Like the old school trainers that are in their 50s still do that, but it's the wrong way to
Yeah.
do it now.
No, I
So
don't
you need a
even
good
people do
system.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they do it in
you need a
paper,
good
bro.
system there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing too, and this is huge. It's something that I figured out a little bit later in my career. Is you need a system of operation. So what I mean by this is this: when you work a 9 to 5 job, even I worked a 9 to 5 job, right? You had a system. When do you clock in? You know exactly what your role is every day. You know exactly what to do from when you start to when you finish. You know when to take your lunch break. You know when to clock back in. You know what to do in the afternoon, and you know when you're clocking out. Right.
Mm.
But when you become an online trainer, you're your own boss now. So you no longer have a system. So a lot of new trainers forget that now they still have to operate like somewhat like you're an employee because you are. You're an employee of your own company in the beginning, right?
Hmm.
So you need a system of operation. What is your role? What are you gonna do when you clock in? What are you gonna do when you take your lunch break? What are you gonna do when you clock out? And that's why a lot of trainers fail, is especially on the online route because they don't have a system of operation. How are you gonna operate your day, bro? And that's what really took me a long time to really figure out. I was just doing like all this work that I thought was productive, but it really wasn't, right? And when I figured it out over time, I realized that I can execute a lot faster than the average trainer. So yes, you need a great system, but you also need a system of operation. And in
Mm.
order to have a good system of operation, you have to understand you need a roadmap to follow. Because once you have a roadmap to follow, you just follow the blueprint, and you know exactly how to execute that on your calendar. Talking about calendar, you need to talk about the next thing. You need to understand how to manage your calendar. I didn't understand this till a little bit later too, right? My calendar literally says what time I'm gonna wake up, what am I doing for the first hour, when
Yeah.
am I going to have breakfast, when am I going to the gym, what time am I coming back. I had a go back to the joke I made earlier. I had a girl who always says, "You work out so fast."
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, "Girl, I work out harder than you," but I don't say that, right? What I do say is like, "Listen, I just got a lot of things scheduled on my calendar." So she thought I was acting up. So she was like, "Ah, let me see." I was like, "Girl, let me show you real quick." So I
Hmm.
showed her my calendar, and I was like, "Listen, you're probably used to the guys that work at Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta follow my calendar. I got meetings, I got shit to do."
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, "Oh my!" Guess what? That probably attracted her a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm not in pursuit of these women. I just want to throw in a joke there, right? So managing your
Yo.
calendar is crucial,
Yeah.
man. So that's huge. Um, and yeah, man, I'd say those were some key traits that I really used in the beginning that I feel like I've really attributed to my success, man. So
Nice.
I might have missed a thing or two, but those were really some key pointers there.
Yeah, you know something. I'm gonna touch on what you just said, and also some sales, and then we can wrap it up. But like with the system of operation and the system, actually the first system that you said, right? So you said there's like a lot of systems that people could use to get the results, client results. What do you feel like? Is it doesn't have to be specifics, but like maybe like a framework. Maybe is there a specific framework that you like to follow, or specific things that that trainers could do to just make sure that their clients are getting results. Even for me, like someone who's getting into the online space, um, it's super unknown, especially going from personal training to online coaching. It's like, all right, I've gotten clients results in person. I could smash their fucking legs and their everything because I'm right there. But for someone who's not in person with them, what is a framework or maybe specific things that you would advise for someone to do to get their clients results?
Online. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I would highly recommend that you build the smoothest process to help your clients get even better results. You have to understand that we live in a world now where people want easy.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, nothing about getting a six pack is easy, but you must understand how the average human being thinks, how they
Mhm.
feel, and how they operate. People want easy. So by using something like Google Docs or spreadsheets, it's boring. Nobody wants to read and be on a spreadsheet and hop on their spreadsheet while they're at the gym. Nobody wants to do that. Maybe the old school people, maybe a little bit, but you need to find a way to create a smooth list process, something that's so easy. Matter of fact, what is easy? Having videos for them made on how exactly to perform a certain workout, right?
Mm.
Having detailed instructions and notes exactly how to perform the exercise. All right. And a great way to do that is by having your own app, which is something that I know that, I've passed down to you, Johnny, and that we actually have inside of our Facebook community. Anybody that wants to join or learn more about that. When you have your own app, you can design your own workouts in there. You can create detailed instruction, and it's a lot cooler. Who wouldn't want to flex that? Oh man, my online trainer, I'm on his app right now. It obviously positions you as the prize, which
Mm.
you are the prize. right?
Mm-hmm.
So I highly suggest that you go into building your fitness app route simply because the average human being wants easy. They just want to click a few buttons, see exactly how to perform the exercise, and then do it themselves,
Yeah.
right? So we live in a world now where people want easy. It's like social media now. There's an attention time span. People want easy. They want things that look nice, things that look good in their eye, that captivates them, right? So it's the same thing with getting people results too.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be, because we've had some trainers that are like hard on themselves. They're like, yeah, but I want things to be very structured on the spreadsheet and this and that. And I'm like, brother, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you think is best. Keyword, you think is best. But
Mm-hmm.
that's probably not what the average human being think is best for them. It's not about you. It's about the consumer.
Yeah.
It's about the client, right? So that's a big mindset that I say a lot of veteran trainers could really improve on, is the fact that they're stuck on the old school model, and they need to understand that it's a digital world now and everything is going digital, my friend. So you have to create a digital way for all the future clients that they get.
Yeah. Okay. So your advice would be basically like, make it simple, make it fucking super stupid simple. On top of that,
Hmm.
in terms of, because if you kind of referred back to the simpleness and the instructions, it's just more. It's kind of like what we would do for ourselves to scale our business. It's like I would say, I don't know. You would correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say it's kind of like the same thing. Kind of drawing a roadmap for the client to see, this is we're gonna get from point A to point B. This is exactly how we're gonna do it, and then we're just pretty simple and throughout the process. Cool. In terms of your weekly check-ins and your Zoom calls, well, when you did do it, or what you advise in your mastermind, what are some ways that trainers could give some value to their clients
Yeah,
besides
that's a great,
the,
great,
yeah,
great question, brother. Yeah, so if you do any type of check-ins, I highly recommend that you do them virtually. Don't just call them. I feel like Zoom is a way better experience. But don't just
mm-hmm,
get on a call and just like ask them some very basic questions and be robotic. Oh, how are you? How's your progress? You also want to have a system of operation on that too. On the week two meeting, on the onboarding meeting, right? What are you going to talk about? So this is something that I would love to pass down to you and even all the future trainers. You should have an onboarding call with them where you take them through a tour, take them through your app, how to manage it, how to use it. What are the most common roadblocks that some newbies experience? Because some people might not know how to click a button that is very simple. That's okay because
mm-hmm,
you want to make it easy for them. So when you have the onboarding call, you can take them through a tour on your app so they know how to navigate it and how to use it at the best of their ability. When somebody doesn't know how to use something properly, they're very likely to not sign up for the next month. So you want them to know how to use it properly. That's key. And on top of that, check this out. I'm gonna give you some gold right here. Because you can create a document for them. And in that document, this could be created on canva.com, which is a free platform. You can have a questionnaire for them. So ask them questions like, how do you feel you would get the best results? One-on-one coaching? Do you want tech support every single day? Do you just learn off videos? Are you the type of guy that like learns on his own and you just want me to give you the roadmap and you don't want me to check in with you? Because there's some clients that are like, Asel, give me the roadmap, brother. You ain't got to check in with my ass every day. And I'm like, all right, brother. All
so I'm
right,
gonna
it's
do
cool.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
there's some clients. So you got to understand the customer, right? I also go as
Mm,
far as asking them like, what are some roadblocks that you feel you come across frequently, so I can get a good understanding of how I can help you overcome them. Questions like this, how do you deal with a problem? Do you like, close yourself off from socializing? Do you do this? Do you do that? I want to get a good understanding of the person, right? What's the best type of coaching I could deliver for them? And then you also want to. This is a secret. This is a secret that I learned from my first mentor who's making $20 million a year doing e-commerce. There's a way to get people to never quit your program. Ready? The way you get them to do it is by asking them one question. Write a letter to your future self a year from now. Tell yourself all the reasons why you would not quit. Write down any reasons why you want to get in good shape. Maybe any past struggles you dealt with. Maybe you want to be a good an example for your kids, for your family. Write down in detail why you will never quit. Write a letter to yourself. And we would get massive letters of people writing letters to themselves. So when they wanted to quit, we just go back and be like, hey, brother, I got this letter here from you. And this letter says that sometimes you think about quitting, but you can't because you got your mom
mm,
and your dad depending on you, brother. Am I
mm,
not speaking to this John anymore? What happened to that John?
yeah.
Then we save them, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of a business as well. Is you want people to stay with you for a long period of time. That goes to any business. And then on top of that as well is at the very end you have them. You ask them a very simple question. You tell them this. The clients that tend to do or get the best results are the ones that do it with somebody else. So is there anybody else you can recommend that you feel could be a great fit, a part of this training program as well? And then you have three different people that they can recommend. They give you their number, their Instagram handle, and then you ask for a three-way connection. Okay. So then every new client you get, you also get three new referrals on top of that. You make it mandatory for them to fill it out. Right. And guess what? And this is some people fear asking for that because they feel like it's salesy. That's wrong. If you do business with somebody, you're more than inclined to ask for more business because they already
Mm.
trusted you. And now that they've gone through all this questionnaire, they're very likely to refer you three people. Can't count how
Mm.
many people we signed up from that. And referrals are the best because referrals also pay the most upfront too, because they're already trusted people from your clients. So that's a way to automatically get more leads as you start the journey with them. And also, every week that you do coaching with them, you want to have a system of operation, right? Every time they experience a win, anytime they drop 1 pound, shit, if they lose half a pound, I ask for a referral. Oh man, Johnny, that's what I'm talking about, brother. You see, damn, you got a six pack coming out already, dude. This fuck, we're 2 weeks in, dude. Hey, you know anybody
Yeah.
else you feel could benefit from our training program? Oh man, I do, and it happens to all of our clients. Matter of fact, when they get their first sale, they're like mind blown. So what do? We ask for referral, right? Matter of fact, some of them I don't even gotta ask. They automatically connect me with them. It's like
Mm.
they prove to themselves that it actually works, and then now they want to refer people. So
Mm.
every coaching call that you have, you want to get in the habit of asking for, especially if they're experiencing wins. And wins doesn't even have to be losing weight, Johnny. It could be a mindset win. Oh, bro, I feel powerful today. I feel
Yeah.
energized today. Right? Especially if you like, especially like for women, like women experience a lot of they're more emotional human beings. So for them, they're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I feel so much more confident in myself. I feel good. So girls are more emotional. So you can be able to analyze that and be able to ask them questions to get them to refer people to you.
Mm.
And yeah, on top of that, every time you're done, right, with your coaching clients, let's say for 12 weeks, get in the habit of maybe doing a call with them here over Riverside or over Zoom. Like just do like you call it like a graduation call. I would say do a call where you ask them for a testimonial and you just do a call similar like this. And then right after you're done recording it, you ask them what's the next step from here, because either they can leave now or they can re-sign up again. And if you
Mm.
created a smoothless process, after those 12 weeks, you're going to want to keep going, right? Or you can have a low ticket offer where they just stay a part of your community for a very low price and they could just still experience your community. There's a lot of cool things to really make that process smoothless, but that's a huge key. I call it a chess move. You get everybody featured on a call like this, and then after you invite them to just say what's next from here. They can either go on their own or they can re-sign up again.
Mm.
And on top of that, and if they don't, maybe have a low ticket offer where they just stay a part of your community because they like you and they trust you and they just maybe they want to just experience your calls or anything you do, and
Mm.
then they just stay with you, and that's just more recurring revenue, which also creates a sellable business by you having a recurring model as well.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. That's. I
Sure.
mean, shit, that's a lot of gems right there. That's really fucking. I really hope people take that into. I know for a fact, and I'm gonna dive into that myself. But that's really
Yeah,
dope, bro. Honestly, I'm glad you've been able to kind of, not just not just scale out, but you've been able to really impact people just by giving value. So that's amazing.
yep.
Um,
Sure,
one
my man.
one thing about before we kind of wrap this up, like in terms of making sales, because I know you worked at your top. You were one of the top sales rep, right? With your mentor for your mentor.
Yeah, of course.
What was the biggest deal you've ever closed?
Biggest deal I ever closed. So they actually had a low ticket program. Their program was only 2 grand. Uh, so it
Yeah,
was it was
that's
not that
funny. When
high,
you
but it
say
was.
low ticket, I thought you were gonna say like $50 or something.
Yeah, man. So I was a
Yeah,
little.
only
I
two
mean,
grand. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's only 2 grand, but it was 20% commission per sale. Um,
Okay.
The most I ever made in terms of commission sales with him was like 12 grand a month
Wow.
in
Mm,
terms of just commission. But in terms for him, I mean, it was just 2K deals. I don't recall how much. I know I generated about 500 grand worth of deals closed within about 5 to almost 6 months of working with him, worth of deals for him and his company. But then I also worked with another guy as well in the fitness industry specifically. Um, and I know the max I ever made in a day for him was about 23K in a day
mm,
worth of deals closed, worth of revenue,
yeah.
23.1K or something like that. That was in a day, right? For him
Wow.
specifically. Um,
Wow.
he was also selling an 8K package. So I've closed 8K deals, paid in full. You know, we have our own coaching as well. So we get paid in fulls at times as well. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean that's to me that's a little higher ticket. When you go like above 1,000, that's actually considered high ticket. I just feel like I just said low ticket when it's 2,000, but it's actually higher. Anything above 1,000 is considered high ticket.
Uh,
But I say 8,000 is a little higher ticket for sure.
oh yeah.
However, we want to get to a point, especially in these next upcoming years, where we close some even bigger deals. We have some cool things in mind to sell like a even bigger mastermind, and that'll actually only be very exclusive because it'll be like a partnership deal as well. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
We have some guys in here, man. They're crushing the game, dude.
That's respect. All right. So this
Yes,
is the last
sir.
question I'm gonna ask you in terms of sales. So let's do it. Ah, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable doing like a little sale role play?
Yeah, let's do it, brother. Let's do it.
All right, because I think that would help a lot of people. I was gonna ask you some sale questions, but let's make it a little fun. All right.
Let's go.
So, um, what would you want to do? Like some online coaching? Yeah, let's do that.
Oh,
So,
let's do this. Tell me you want to think about it because I think the most common thing a lot of people want to hear is how do you handle those objections when somebody says just want to think about it.
yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, so I'll start it off. Yeah, so this is something that I don't really know. I got to think about it.
Yeah, for sure, Johnny. I totally understand, brother. How long do you think you need to really think about it? You want like a day, 2 weeks, 4 years, four square Abraham Lincoln?
Ah, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know how long I had to think about it. I just have to. It could take me 3 weeks. It could take me four.
Okay, yeah, for sure, brother. I mean, what I could do, right, is schedule you like on a call maybe 4 weeks from now. I'll just put it on my calendar just as a quick reminder, just to remember I can check in with you, make sure everything's all good. Does that feel fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Let me go ahead and check my calendar real quick. Let's see what I have available on my calendar.
Hmm.
You know what, Johnny? Just before I put you on my calendar, I'm just a bit curious. What is the main thing that you want to think about? Is it the program or is it the price?
Um, I would say it's just the it's not necessarily the program or the price. It's just like more of I don't know if it's like the right time right now, to do it. I have like a lot of stuff going on right now, so I don't know if I'm gonna prioritize it.
I get it. No, I totally understand, Johnny. I mean, is there ever the right time to learn how you can make an extra $10,000 a month?
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, brother. So let's do this quick activity because it sounds like time is the main thing holding you back, and I would hate that to, and not really hate, but I would really fear, right, that everything stays the same as it is now. You know, you continue to work those long hours, you continue to have no time, no freedom going into this new year, and I would really fear that this could happen for the next entire year. So let's just do an activity together. And I really want to figure out how many hours you actually have left per week. So on average, Johnny, how many hours do you work per day?
I work regular 9 to 5, so from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm working.
9 a.m. to
Um,
5 p.m. Okay.
yeah, and then
So it's
also
about
I have
8 hours a
school.
day.
So like that's 8 hours a day, and then I also have school, online. So I'm like taking virtual classes.
Okay.
That's like
So the 9 to 5, is it just Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Okay, so that's 8 times 5. Okay. Perfect. And you said you take the online classes. How long are your online classes for?
My online classes, they're about 2 hours, and that's it.
2 hours,
But like,
and that's
yeah, so
Monday
throughout
through
the week,
Friday.
I'm only taking 3 classes. So throughout the week, that's like 6 hours.
6 hours. Okay, cool, brother. And is there anything else you do throughout the day? Maybe spend time with family, you gym, go to the strip club or something.
Nah, man. I'm just at home. Sometimes I do go out, but like most of the time, I'm home. I'm tired.
Okay, but you do spend some time at the gym throughout the week, right?
At the gym, yeah.
Okay, and how long are your workouts per day?
My workouts, they're about like I would say that's a good question, man. If like sometimes it goes up to 2 hours, so
Okay,
it
so you
could
know
be
what?
an
Let's
hour,
average
two
that.
hours. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna add an extra 10 there on top of that, extra 10 hours a week. And
Mm.
what about the commute time? Because I know you said you work a 9 to 5 job. So how long does it take you to get to work on average?
Yeah, like an hour.
Or like an hour? Okay, so
Yeah, I
let's
take an
add
hour.
another 10 on top of that for commute.
Uh-huh.
And do you do anything on the weekends? You spend time with family? Take any days off on the weekends?
On the weekends, yeah, I'm usually just like like partying or
Party.
yeah, or like sometimes I just chill at home.
You just chill at home. Okay, so it sounds like you don't really do much on the weekend. How many hours do you sleep per night though, on average?
Uh, like 6,
6. Okay.
7 sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Okay. Cool. Is there anything else you do throughout the week? Anything else you feel like takes up your time or not really?
Not much. That's it, really.
Okay, that's okay for sure. So let's do this. So did you know that every week there's 168 hours a week, right?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna do 168 minus 108. Johnny, you have 60 hours left throughout the
Hmm.
week. That's basically a full-time job. So you see, the question isn't a question of time. It's a question of what are you doing with your time, Johnny?
Hmm. You're right.
Yeah, Johnny. So you see, it's to me, it's I feel like if something's important enough for you, you would really find the time. And just based on the conversation we had, I understand you want to really help out your family this year. You want to be a provider for them. You have a child coming soon by the end of the year. So it sounds like it's something that's important enough for you, but you just haven't prioritized, brother. So is it really a question of the program, or is it more of the price for you that you feel deep down in your soul that is really holding you back?
Yeah. It's the price.
It's the price. Okay. And let me ask you this, Johnny. Is it because you don't really have the full investment, or you're not willing to make the full investment today?
I have the full investment. I'm just not. I wasn't willing. But I think after speaking, I think I have to do
Yeah, brother.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. You didn't even. I was just getting started, baby. I could keep going
But
all
I didn't
day.
even. I was even. Damn, that was fire, bro.
So
Like, nice, nice. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I
So
like
that's a
that.
big one.
Mm.
Yeah. Because people might tell you that too. It's like I don't have the time, right? But that's a big thing, and especially that I pass down to our clients is that you should do something called a two call process. So on the first call, you should already identify that they have the time, that they are serious about working with you, then that they have the money. So that first call is to pre-qualify them. So going into that next call, they have the time, they're serious, and they have a financial investment to work with you. So
Yeah,
you don't get that objection going into that next call, right?
yeah,
However, it still might pop up. We can accept that objection might still pop up. That is actually my favorite activity. There's 168 hours a week. So I calculate how much time they spend at the gym, how much they sleep, how much they work per week, what's the commute time, do they spend time with family, any days off. I calculate everything. And every time I've done this activity, I can tell you, man, everybody always has a bunch of hours extra. And they
yeah,
always look at me like, damn, I've never done that activity before. So that's crazy, bro. And
yeah,
I'm like, yeah. So, it isn't a question of time. It's a question of are you willing to do the work to make it
yeah,
happen, right?
yeah,
So sometimes you got to show it to them, so they can see it.
yeah, bro. Honestly, that was a good tool. That was a good tool. So I think
Sir.
Asel, first off, I want to thank you for coming on here. You gave a lot of value. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take it. I really hope that you guys take some actionable steps. That's kind of one of my missions with this podcast, not just to give information, but for people to have something practical to execute on. So, the last thing. What is one thing you would say for someone who watched this whole thing, and someone who wants to make a lot of money, or they just want to see a lot of success? What would you say for them to execute on?
Great question. Man, I'd say execute on a lot of the mindset tools that I dropped today because I feel like if you develop your mind, everything else will follow. So I would highly
Yeah,
suggest that you get that book I was mentioning, which is Deep Work
deep
by
work.
Cal Newport, one of the best books I've ever read when it comes down to productivity. I would suggest that you really put yourself around a group of like-minded individuals to really level up your thinking and level up your thoughts. I feel like to a certain extent, I believe in something called energy transurfing. If you have these negative thoughts, it's your choice to stay within those negative thoughts and stay in that loop. If you're around a negative frequency, you feel like nothing in your life has been headed in the right direction. It's because you need to switch your frequency into a positive frequency, and it starts by putting yourself in the right environment, the right thoughts, the right thinking. Get that book I told you guys to read, and on top of that, understand that without great sacrifice, or yeah, you need to sacrifice in order to achieve great reward. That's literally the simplest way that I could put it. I feel like going into this new year, a lot of people still don't understand that because I feel like any great king, especially kings that I read before in the past in the history books, they gave up a lot in order to become a king and in order to have an empire. So if you are an empire builder, that's what you want to accomplish. You're gonna have to sacrifice a lot. You're gonna have to go through a lot of pain and suffering. But at the end of the day, on the other side, there's always light. So that's my biggest piece of advice for everybody.
Sheesh. And there you go. All right. Thank you for coming on. Before we end
Of
this,
course.
hold up. I do want to shine light onto your mastermind. So, uh, do you want to talk about that real quick? Like your mastermind, what is it that you have going on right now?
Yeah, for sure, brother. So we help personal trainers, especially the trainers that are occupied all the time, that they're busy training clients, and we help you guys really break the glass ceiling to your earning potential, and ultimately really grow your online business. So we help all you trainers by mastering three key skills: systems, understanding how to market, and understanding how to sell. And I'm not just talking about the $50 programs. I'm talking about selling $1,000 deals and up minimum. We have some guys selling $3,000 deals, so it's possible. So yeah, and if you guys want to learn anything more about that, I don't know if you link anything to this, but we have like a Facebook community. It's called the Perfect Trainer Assembly, and it's basically just a group. We have a free course in there. Same free course. We hand it off to Johnny as well, so you guys can come
Yeah.
on learn. We're gonna start doing 2 lives a week. Every Monday we're hosting a live training, and every Friday I'm actually having like a cigar night where I'm just smoking a cigar in my backyard fire pit, or I'm having a glass of wine, and I'm doing Q&As. So I'm just answering everybody's questions and answering them. So I'd love to invite you guys to come check that out for sure.
Yeah, where can they find that? You said for the cigar night and for the free group. So actually, I want to mention this for you guys to know. All right, so I'm not someone who's just gonna tell somebody to come on this podcast and talk about what they sell or what they provide, what their services is, without me understanding what it is myself. I personally gone through the course, and let me tell you, it's something that I know for a fact has a lot of value in it. You guys are not gonna want to miss out on this, so definitely tap in.
Yeah.
And then in terms of
Uh,
the cigar night, when is that? You said this Friday?
It's this Friday. It's inside of our Facebook community. It's called Perfect Trainer Assembly. I don't know if you link it anywhere, but I can just
Yeah,
send you the link.
I'll link it down below, but it's a Facebook group.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a Facebook group and it's called Perfect Trainer Assembly. Once you guys join, I'll be able to see you guys in our lives that we host every week.
yeah. Okay, fire, bro. All right, thank you for
All
coming
right, bro.
on. Let's crush it. Let's crush the end of the day.
All right,
All right.